All right, everybody, welcome back to Splinterlands. I am Dr. Jesse Reich, CEO and co-founder of Splinterlands. The gamers around here will just know me as Aggro, though. So we just finished our last season, some big news, so I figured I'd go and take another crack at giving you the state of Splinterlands. So first off, Splinterlands is now on HIVE. We transitioned to HIVE. HIVE is a fork of Steam. We were unhappy with some of the way that things played out after the purchase of Steemit. It took us a while to get here, but we have finally transitioned over to the Hive blockchain. We're happy to be there. And it didn't take us long. We figured it out and made sure to go work with the ranking site so we didn't lose our rank. But here you can see this is just dapradar.com today. And it's so beautiful. We are sitting here still at the #1 position. The volume and the balances are off, but it does look like the tickets and the transactions and the users are still correct. So happy to see us here. Happy to see us continue to grow and put a little distance between us and other games and apps out there. But here's hoping that the whole space grows. I mean, that's what we need more than just individual competition between these dApps and apps. Okay, so. Anyways, just to give you a quick sense, I'm gonna cover some general things. So if you've seen these videos before, you can kind of skip over the next 5 minutes or so. But I just want to keep repeating some of the same message so that you guys can understand what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it. So pretty simply, we believe first off, you have to empower the players. The players are absolutely the core of this, and we want to ensure that they have as much economic freedom and sort of freedom of speech within the game and the environment as to the best of our ability. And along with that, community is really the core. You know, Dan Hentz he's another guy on the Hive blockchain. He likes to talk about layer 0. So you have kind of your layer 1 of a blockchain is the core layer, the things that the actual nodes of the blockchain process. Layer 2 is any kind of app or node that's built on top of it. But he likes to talk about layer 0, and layer 0 is your community, and it's really the base of everything you've done. So we're not going anywhere without our players, so we really try to think through how do we keep the players at the core of what we're doing. We really want this game to be replayable. You know, it can be repetitive, but you know, we keep adding more rule sets, more cards, more everything. We're working on new ways to play the game, so that's a high priority for us. Both for the business and just because of like how our lives are structured, we know that mobile is essential. So we're looking forward to getting the mobile apps out this quarter. We'll at least build them this quarter. The question of whether or not the app stores will accept them this quarter is different, but that's the plan for now. Look, this thing has to be global. We're already pretty global. We're in 142 countries. We are in 8 different languages. So multilingual and global is absolutely critical for this. If you can speak other languages and you don't see them listed, come talk to us in Discord. Because I'm happy to have the conversation around, you know, let's get your language listed as well. Part of why we're moving to Hive is that it really is one of the most scalable blockchain technologies that's out there. It may not be perfect. There are some things that are a little wonky still, but you know, this is a relatively new industry, but this is, to me, one of the best blockchains that we could be building on. And I know some people have concerns or want us to be in other places or think that there's better ways for us to make money or to grow values or whatever. But ultimately, the value of this game isn't going to come from, you know, a blockchain that has a slightly higher market cap. It's going to come from millions of players starting to use it. And so to us, like when we're looking long range, there's nothing more important than scalable technology. We're doing our best to build a history of success. You know, that's what a lot of this presentation is meant to show, of just how we're growing. And finally, we really want to see players of all abilities, ages, budgets be able to go find a spot in this game and in this ecosystem where they can participate. And lastly, one of the things, you know, this is really the future of us as a game and us as a platform for games, is that we can create many games using the same or brand new NFTs and the same ecosystem. So Hopefully that just kind of gives you a sense around the mentality. Keep the players first, do what we can to grow, and mobile's essential. And hopefully that will help understand a lot of the decisions that we're making as a team here. So what is Splinterlands? Well, we're two things. We are a next generation game development studio. My partner and I, Matt, the two of us are the founders. I do a lot of the sales and marketing. He does a lot of the core development and project and product management. And we have two full-time programmers. We have two full-time marketing staff, and we have maybe a dozen or so contractors that we work with, including our mobile development. That's a team that Matt's worked with on a couple different projects and companies, so we like to stick with groups that we know and trust. So that's the team, but we are also the most popular blockchain-based dApp in the world. That's not just the most popular game in the world, it's the most popular dApp. So we're super proud of that, and we feel like we have a responsibility to this market and this industry to try to keep growing and take it from this relatively small scale platform. I mean, we're the biggest dApp, but dApps in crypto are still niche. We gotta grow out of our niche and push into the mainstream. And this company and this product and this approach of gaming really represents one of the best ways to go do that. 66% of the U.S. population over the age of 12 are gamers. There's 2.2 billion gamers worldwide. And this industry, just for blockchain gaming, there are some hefty projections out there of the market supposed to be 2.3 billion just for blockchain gaming. So, if you want to make a dent, we feel like you got to be able to do something more than speculate on token prices. You got to be entertained. You got to hang out. You got to be able to earn some stuff. And we really feel that gaming is a phenomenal spot for us to grow our business and to grow crypto as a whole, which is just so critical to us and our beliefs. So the other piece of how this fits in is that gaming has a gigantic problem that blockchain can solve. So you see that dude, he's got his game, he spent $60 on it, he played it for a month. He beat the game, but he's got nothing to show for it. Maybe a couple friends on social media or something, or a couple videos, but it's highly likely that he is down money and all that time is sort of wasted, frankly. But whereas in blockchain, you can actually start assembling assets and get paid for this time, and we can facilitate that. So when we look through what is it that the blockchain aspect of this does, I like to think through, I used to own cards and I used to play physical card games, and you could trade the cards. You'd go to school, you'd go to the store, or you'd wake up your brother and you'd be like, all right, let's trade these things. They had real value, but to me, they were really inconvenient, especially when I was younger. I didn't really have transportation. If I wanted to, I couldn't control when I could play and when I could trade, and that was frustrating. The digital games came along and they're really convenient because now anybody with an internet connection can play, but the big studios don't like the ability for players to be able to trade these things back and forth. But with Splinterlands, we're really able to get the benefits of both your traditional physical games, your newer digital games, and add this new aspect where you can earn every win. So you can play anytime because we're internet-based. You can trade every time because you own the tokens that trade on the blockchain. And you can earn every win, which to us is a new aspect. Yes, games have been able to earn something, but without it being able to trade, the things that you've earned haven't actually had real world value. But here we actually give out cards and they have real world value, and it's actually pretty substantial. So this is last week. I was showing them midweek. I try to do these at the end of every season, but I was out of cycle. So this data and what I'm about to show is only 1 week apart. But DEX by value, go look at that top line. That's 170,000. What you're looking at, those are account names that are over there, and how much value in cards is currently calculated by one of the bots that does that. There are a couple different ways that you could calculate it, but for consistency, you'll see I keep using the same method. So that doesn't mean that 100% that's the only way to calculate it. It just means that I'm trying to be consistent in using the same program and tools. So those are the different accounts, and those are their values. You'll notice that as of last week, the highest amount is 170,000. And to be at the bottom of that list, you have to have cards worth a total of 34,000. Last week, the cards were worth 5.4 million. You could see that it's spread out between a couple of editions of packs. As a company, we sell packs at $2 at retail. And if you buy them in bulk, they come down to $1.70. So most of the values split between the alpha and the beta editions, both of which are sold out. Current edition is Untamed. We have the rewards cards. This is what I was talking about. If these cards have real world value, these are cards that we as the game give out to our players, and yet the players themselves value them collectively at $660,000. And then we have these promos. The packs we've sold out of, and so if you bought the packs and you want to trade them on secondary markets. Last week, the alphas were selling for $8.80 and $3.06. So that was last week. Let's go compare that to this week. So we see that the TH12 Moon, they're up maybe $8,000 just in the last week. Smalp actually traded places. So Smalp is my trading account. So you can see that I went from 86 to 94 here. I wasn't buying cards. That's just the market fluctuating. That's a happy week for me. You'll also notice that Neoxian makes the list this week at the bottom of the list. So now, if you want to be in the top 10 holders of cards, not only do you have to hold $34,000 worth of a collection, but now the minimum to be in the top 10 is $37,000. So the market cap has gone up. It went from 5.4 million to 5.7 million. This is using the third-party site Peak Monsters. They are a beautiful site with a lot of features in the market side of things that we just can't focus on right now. All right, so we see the alphas here. They've gone up a little bit. That's at 1.74 million. The betas a little bit higher, 1.69. Untamed, we've seen some growth. Reward, we've seen some growth. And then we've seen a lot of value increase in that promo. 987 versus 880. There's $100,000 of difference in the promo cards. And those promo cards are things that, like, we want to make a partnership or bring in a new audience. So we'll make special edition cards just for that. And those cards are just about to break $1 million collectively. Really exciting here. So people are buying the alpha packs. They see value. So the alphas right now are trading almost at $20. So, we sold out of these maybe 18 months ago. So in 18 months, they have, depending on if you bought them in bulk or at retail, they have 10x in value or more. Pretty amazing to me. Beta packs have gone up a little bit, but that's not quite as much to write home about there. Okay, so this is last week. Down here on the bottom right, you can see I have the date. So this is the screenshot of the market on 5/27. Here are some of the prices there. Yoden Zaku, there's 47 of these cards for sale, and the lowest price is $17. Compare that to this, and you see that it's now $20.50. Look at that circulating supply. The circulating supply is 551. Here it was 628. So this is not people like losing their cards or losing them somehow. They're combining them. That's part of how this game operates. That as you combine the cards, they get new abilities and they're stronger. So we're seeing a lot of combining there. That's almost 70 cards or 10% of the supply combined. And then we're also seeing, look at how many are on the market. There's 47 that were on the market, and now we're down to 18. So that to me is really exciting too. It just means that people are buying them, combining them, and people don't want to sell them. They don't want to get rid of them. So also look last week that Gloridrax Dragon, he's sitting down there at $1.23, and that was the lowest of the list. And now it's still the Gloridrax Dragon, but this thing is now up to $1.30. So there's a little bit of jostling for position for these different cards. It looks like your High Priest Darius went from 165 up to 230. So we're seeing a little bit of changes, but the big one, the big striking one in just this past week is somebody ate Yoden Zaku. Good luck. You better start opening packs if you want to find more Yoden. Okay, so what about the Untamed Gold Foil? Last week we saw that Yunzaku was up at 525, and then the cheapest of these gold foil cards was the Phantom of the Abyss down at 40. And then this week, what we're seeing, it's actually a little bit cheaper. So there were more cards for Jotun that came on. Actually, yeah, there's a bunch more cards for Jotun that people are willing to sell. So it's down to $400. But I'm also seeing that the lowest price to go be on this list, the lowest gold foil price is now 47. So I think we're seeing some increase in price. Maybe it's not a ton, but there's a little bit that's now coming from the gold foil increases. This is this shot I took. This is just the alphas. So this is probably I'm going to start moving to all of the most expensive cards in the game for the next screenshot. So these were just the alphas and how they're doing. And now this is what I'll use going forward. Let's go look at the price. That Archmage Arius and the Prince Julian, like those are list prices. We haven't seen cards trade for that much money before. The highest price card that I know of is $3,500. But there are some pretty expensive ones that are out here. You know, there's literally only one Lord of Darkness that is posted for sale. There's only one Angel of Light from this Alpha Edition. The Elemental Phoenix is $13.20. There's only one Alpha Frost Giant. So, and there's not a whole lot of these cards that exist. You know, we have something like 30,000 accounts, and I'll show how that's growing. But as we keep getting more people, and we're not printing any more of these, we'll see what the appetite of the market is for it. Kind of neat to see that there is one standard foil card that can make it onto this list. That's the Archmage Arius. So the Archmage is kind of a badass here. I'm wondering if that level is right. I might have to go look into that. But here are some of these cards, and we'll keep looking at how that changes. Market looks healthy today, $4,600. There were 6,600 sales. You know, we are one of the most active NFT marketplaces in the world, so nice to see a lot of healthy transaction volume there. All right, so here's the market cap. This is the market cap from last week. So we were sitting up here at 4.2 million. Looks like, you know, somewhere around here we introduced dark energy crystals in tournaments. I forget the order, but it's, you know, each one of those low points was dark energy crystals and then tournaments. We had a beautiful run, maybe even overheated a little bit. This was some of the Kickstarter stuff. Really topped off over here at 4.5 million, and then we've been correcting for a little while. No major updates or changes to the game. We've been working on things in the back end, but it looks like the market kind of finished consolidating and has been on a run. So let's go look at where we are now. You can see there was another big spike. Actually, I found where this was. I don't have a slide for this. Beta Ulrichs went from like $1 to $4. And so a big chunk of this is just somebody buying up every single loose Ulrich that they could find. So that's kind of exciting. Although they only bought the betas. They weren't even looking at the alphas. So you can actually buy or you could yesterday, I don't know about today, but you could find a single alpha Ulrich cheaper than you could find a single beta Ulrich, which is a little backwards to me, but that just means somebody forgot to go click on alphas when they were buying cards. All right, so this hasn't changed much from last week, so I don't have another slide, but here you can see most purchase packs is 57,000 by Jay. And then if you want to be in the top 10, you have to open more than 11,000 packs. For the most cards in the deck, this one actually does change around a little bit. So you can see 189,000, almost 190,000 is the top. 24,000 is down here at the bottom. And then there is a little bit of jostling here. I think I have this. Yeah, so here it's moving around. So Comorex is still in that second position. Team Monsters is still there. Dave McCoy, Psy Guy, Big Bang. And then ABK. ABK was lower, and they're now moving up. Jillian Pierce has a ton of these things. Car Crash Beaming and Alexco Steam It So it looks like Plato Zero fell off the list, and now we have this new player, Alexco Steemit. So if you want to be in the top 10 most cards in your collection, you have to have a minimum of 26,000 cards right now. Our guys are heavy collectors. All right, so top 10 users by total BCX. BCX, this doesn't count how many cards you have. It counts how many level 1 cards are in your collection total. So, like a max level beta common takes 505 cards. So in this one, for the most cards in deck, if you had 505 cards in a max level beta common, that would count as 1 card. For the BCX, if you have 505 cards in a level 10 beta common, this would still count as 505. So here's the, to be at the top, you need 327,000. And to be just in consideration here for the top 10, you need 88,7. And here, it's now up to 89,000. Team Monsters is at the bottom. So there is a little bit of jockeying. You can see Big Bang, and I'm not even sure how to say this. Wergewint. But you can see some poking around. Oh, it looks like Neil finally he's been over me for a while. All right, so I don't know. I just think it's neat to kind of track movements of the whales because they're a big part of the game. Okay, so this is one of my favorite charts that we produce. You can if you come into Discord in the SM voting bot room, you can type in $decimation. It's a bit of a play on word because we have dark energy crystals, which is deck, or crystals, and you can see how these cards will kind of spike over time and then come down. So the alphas happened before this thing existed, but we had 300,000 packs. There were 5 cards per pack. That means you could have a maximum of 1.5 million cards. Back in early 2019, we still had 500,000 of them. So 2/3 of the cards have been squished together. But by now, the alpha is underneath 300,000, which means that more than 80% of the cards have been combined. So it gets harder and harder to find these level 1 alphas. Will that always be true? I mean, we're not minting anymore and people are combining them. My guess is that over time, it'll continue to get harder and harder to find the alphas. And really any of these cards that are out of print editions or if we've sold out of them, I guess, some of the betas, there's still a bunch of the packs that are outstanding. So, if somebody decides to open a whole bunch of beta packs, you might get another spike. But, eventually we run out of packs and there's no more of these cards. And there's really only one way that that collection or the number of cards can head. But anyways, we're underneath 80% squish now. So there's only 20% of the alpha cards remaining that you'll find out there. So betas had 900,000 packs, which means that they could have had a max of 4.5 million cards. It looks like they capped out at 1 million. So I keep meaning to go do this math, but we're underneath the 80% or more of these beta cards have been squished as well. So what's remaining now? It looks like we have 817,000. So let's go grab a calculator. This is a little bit dorky, but 817.42. And that's 1,000 divided by 4,500. 18%. So 82% of the cards have been squished, or there are some that haven't been opened yet. So I don't know the exact number of packs that are outstanding, but out of the cards that have been opened, 82% have been squished together. So that to me is really healthy, that players want the higher level cards and they are squishing them together to get there. Here are your rewards. We are printing fewer rewards. You do see that the total number is increasing, But I know people were a little bit of frustrated with the changes that we made to the loot system, but it is actually quite a lot of work to go like design all these cards just to have you guys immediately burn them to get dark energy crystals out. So we kept the rewards value the same. We did that on purpose, but now we're just not handing out as many cards. You'll get roughly the same amount of dark energy crystals. That's how the system's designed. But we saved you a step of having to burn them, while we were saved the step of having to create new cards that you just burn. So you can see that it's going up still, but we have certainly slowed the curve of how quickly those go out. Promos. We're I don't know where the most recent spike is coming from. Maybe this is halflings. I'm not sure. Maybe some other people are opening cards that they've held in reserve for a bit. I'm a little bit surprised to see that keep going up. But I mean, ultimately, and then here's the Untamed. You can see Untamed kind of starts spiking, but it's hard for it to keep pushing up higher because people keep combining all these cards. So right now, we're more than a third of the way through, and there's only 676,000 cards that remain unsquished. So we'll see. I'm going to keep an eye on this. This is really one of my favorite charts that helps give you a sense of how many are out there, what's the supply, what's the demand, how is this changing over time. I really like this chart here. Okay, battles per day. So you can see we started with kind of a spammy game, and people were just spamming all the time. Around here, we changed the rule set so that you couldn't keep spamming as much. So the number of games kind of slowed down, and the market was a little slow, and we didn't have dark energy crystals or tournaments, but those got implemented, and we've been on a rise in terms of the number of games ever since. This was the last end of the season, and we had more than 80,000 games played in the same day, which is a new all-time high for us, and I'm super excited. This thing is tracking just on Steam, so you can see we immediately started having this drop off. It's not actually the number of games have dropped off that much. It's that we stopped being on Steam, so we're gonna have to figure out how to get this chart for next time. Same thing over here. We were at a new all-time high for number of accounts playing. I forget the exact number here, but this looks like 4,700 or so. So that's a new all-time high for us. Really excited. No, same story. Game came out spammy, kind of declined over time. Some of that's market conditions. We weren't putting out a ton of new updates. We got out tournaments. We got out dark energy crystals, and we've been sort of on this tear ever since. Here we were down at 1,400. Here we're over 4,500. So we've actually been able to triple the number of users that we have playing this game, or the number of accounts playing just over the last year. And that to me is super exciting. That's great growth. There's a lot more that we want to do, but we're off to a wonderful start here for literally just having hit our 2-year anniversary. Okay, so this is the... We have players that play the game, and we have players that will also just come in and buy and sell. And so I was super excited to see this too. This is the most recent. Not only did we have the most number of people playing, but then also coming in to transact. This is again the next all-time high for us. So this is, I think it's a total of like 5,700 or so. But I'm just stoked. Things are looking good. Maybe it's 5,500, but more important to me than the exact number is that we're seeing this growth line hold. And for reasons that I'll explain shortly, I'm hoping that some of our marketing efforts are going to make it grow even faster. So we'll see what this looks like in 2 weeks. But here are those marketing efforts. So this is from Facebook. This is what we're currently spending and what we're doing right now. So these are 3 different campaigns. These 2 are to brand new customers, and these are to existing customers. So this is just fishing in Facebook to try to get new people to play. And what we're seeing is that we've spent $500. We have brought on board 366 new players to go start. And the result of that is that it costs us $1.46 to get a new player. We just launched another ad. I think this was just yesterday, and it's even cheaper. It's 63 cents to grab a new player. and I'm very excited about this. We're not seeing this transition into purchases yet in the game. So we're seeing a lot of new registrations, but we're not seeing a lot of purchases. But this is pretty new. I mean, look at this campaign. We are at $500 spent. We still have a lot to learn about how we improved a new user experience and get more people on board. But this is where we have to start. And starting at $1.46 is amazing. We're part of an accelerator program with Ubisoft. That one of their business development guys was telling me that their average cost is $6. So we figured out in our second year of business how to get a quarter of the industry standard for the cost of a new user. So I'm pretty stoked about this. For the cost per result for the completed registrations and then coming back and the sort of remarketing, this is a little bit higher. We have to poke them, but we're actually seeing a decent amount of money being spent by players that are getting remarketed too. So maybe this will be part of our funnel of brand new players, get them registered and bug them a couple times, but these are great numbers. I don't know any other way to say that than a 63-cent cost to acquire a new user, and this is desktop only. We're not even talking mobile yet. Where when the mobile app is launched, you just click a button, download, and register. That should be even more seamless than what we're doing. Maybe we can bring the cost down even more and get these guys on mobile. I'd be very excited for that. So the product roadmaps don't change in a week. So you're going to see this slide for a little while now, but this is what we're working on. We have anytime tournament updates. So we wanted it to function a little bit differently than it did. So that's coming. I actually later today, we got to go put a couple more tournaments up. So I'll be doing that. Still a mix of imperfect anytime tournaments and our more traditional bracket style tournaments. Those are both going to be there. But there are some new tournament updates that are expected this week. So that'll make me feel a little bit more comfortable going back to the anytime tournament style and pushing those. We're working on the mobile app development. The goal is to get this, the iOS and the Android App Store released. So I think I can say we will get them done this quarter. Whether or not we will get them accepted this quarter, I don't know. I can't, that's up to a third party. League leaderboards and deck floors, the players have been consistent in their concerns about this. We totally agree. We are working on them. We can't transition to blockchain, get the anytime tournaments up, get all the mobile done, and get league leaderboards all done in a week. We are working on these things. But it just takes us time to get them to completion. And oftentimes, I know that players are quick to say, hey, it's a really small back-end change. But sometimes these things that require small back-end changes impact a whole crap ton of front-end screen designs. And it's not just the screen designs for the desktop, but the screen designs for the mobile. And there's a million places that need to change. Otherwise, it's a bad user experience. So we would fix one problem and create another. So I know this stuff is taking longer than really all of us want, but the goal is to make the best product that makes sense and keeps people playing and happy. So we're working on it. We're doing it the fastest we can here. On the horizon, we have guild tournaments. We have a land sale and boss fights. So both guild tournaments and boss fights use this anytime tournament format. So no matter what happens, we have to make sure that this anytime tournament format is working, because that's the basis of two of our next major expansion pieces to the game. So we're going to keep tweaking this thing until the players are happy and we as developers are happy, and because we want to unleash monsters like big boss fights and guild wars and all this other stuff. It's going to be awesome. Land sale. I think we'll get a pre-sale for the land going this quarter. The land, I have nearly all of the starting art done for the land. So we haven't fully designed what it'll look like when we start selling it, but at least the pre-sale for the land, and not necessarily the full expansion, but I would think that the pre-sale for the land is going live this quarter. Part of what I'm excited about, we're focused right now on expansions to our current and existing game, but everything that we're doing can be expanded to either other people's intellectual property or to us building additional games in this ecosystem. So you guys have played with the giant rock. There's no reason why the giant rock couldn't be not only a card, but also a 3D animated thing that might move around in a first-person shooter or or like a real-time strategy game. There's other things that we can do with these assets as we continue to grow our business and have more funds available to work with. So that's where I'm at for the state of the Splinterlands. Hopefully you have a good sense of what is the game, what's going on, some of the economics, the number of players, the news, the product development. I'm going to keep trying to bring this to you at the end of every season. Sorry I got interrupted there for a while with the whole blockchain transition stuff, but I think I'm back on schedule and happy to go be sharing how the game is doing and what news I have to share with you. Best way to reach me is to go through Discord. So we're at discord.splinterlands.com. We have about 5,000 players in there. I go by aggroed in there. My icon is in the top right. So if you have any questions, come hit us up. And to me, it's just news after news of nearly all-time highs across so many of these different areas. New people coming in, marketing campaigns that are doing really freaking well. Development that should be landing here pretty soon, and a transition to HIVE where it was really smooth, and not only was it really smooth, we're still ranked number one, and it's only the day after, so we're really catching up and staying on top of things. So thank you for playing, thank you for watching if you made it all the way through, and come contact us, come talk to us. We love meeting new folks, and good times. Thanks all. Bye.